Hi! Now, our topic for today is mainly to look at the relationship between FBMKLCI and FKLI and using the relationship itself to gauge the market, roughly gauge the market. For example, either the market is weak, strong, is it an uptrend or a downtrend? So basically, the whole topic for today, we are going to look at the relationship between FBMKLCI and FKLI. Is there any things that we can use it to gauge the stock market or not? Meaning the FBMKLCI itself and also to gauge the FKLI itself. Now, hi, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Ting Ting. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and on your notification bell. Now let's start with the first slide, which is we need to identify, before we look into the relationship between FBMKLCI and FKLI, the first thing that we need to understand is what is underlying and what is futures, because we need to know what are the two relationships. But before that, we need to really understand what is underlying and what its futures itself. So if we are going to apply to Malaysia context, then underlying itself is our FBMKLCI, or what we call it as KLCI, and for our futures market is our FKLI. So in a way, for example, the underlying is our parents or our mother, and the futures will be the kids. So we derive from our parents and we are the kids. So we are the futures products. Our underlying market is the KLCI. So apply to the actual market. This is the actual screenshot that I took it from the trading platform. You can see that this is your KLCI. This is also what we call it as the underlying market. And the below is the FKLI, and this is what we call it as the futures market. So in a way, this is the kid and this is the mother. So in a way, like for example, we derive from our parents. If our parents are having a very hot temper, we will in a way inherit the bad temper as well. The same, how the underlying move in a way will affect our futures market as well. And if the other way around, we also can see the relationship. So today, the whole topic, we are going to look at the relationship and is anything that we can discover or not. And whether is it FKLI is leading the FBMKLCI or FBMKLCI is leading the FKLI, later we are going to discuss about it. Now, first thing, before we look into the relationship, we need to look at the two key terms. One is what we call it as discount. Another one is what we call it as premium. Now, what is discount? What is premium? First thing, we need to know that the whole thing for this particular subject is we are focusing on futures. So futures is our main characters, our main point. So anything, for example, if our underlying is above of our futures, that is what we call it as discount. Can you see that? When your futures is below, in a way it's below, the price is lower than an underlying market, that's what we call it as discount. Now, when your price is above your underlying, again, when your futures price is higher than your underlying price, that is what we call it as premium. But maybe you might not able to really understand. I'm going to show you this, that is easier for you to digest. So everything we focus on futures because we are currently in futures market. So for example, if our underlying price is higher than our futures price, this is what we call it as what? Because right now your futures is lower than your underlying. So this is what we call it as discount. Always prioritize our futures, then it's easier for you to understand whether right now it's a discount or whether it's a premium. So discount itself, you should know when your price is lower, then there's a discount. Now, another one, if my price, this is the underlying price, if my underlying is below or lower than my futures price, so this is what we call it as premium. Your futures price is higher than your underlying. So based on these two, roughly we can see the relationship. How to see it? We are going to show it in our next slide. Now, in this case, right, you can see that your KLCI is at 1602. Then your futures is at 1601. Not much of different. Technically, it's quite close to it. It's like equivalence to a par level. Later, I'm going to explain about what is par. Now, in the actual scenario, based on the backtesting, it's about 70% of the time, our FBMKLCI and the FKLI, the difference is plus minus 5 points. It doesn't matter whether it's discount or premium, it's about 5 points. I repeat in the actual scenario, about 70% of the time, the FBMKLCI and FKLI, the difference is between plus minus 5 points. Either 5 points discount or 5 points premium within that level. So anything more than that is within the 30%, and this is not normal. This is not normal in the way is what we call it as, for example, let's say for example, if your FBMKLCI is 1602, but your FKLI let's say is 1595. So there's a 7 points of discount. In a way, if anything more than 5 points, right, it's not normal. So when it is not normal, two things that we can look at it. Let's say, for example, if FKLI is at discount, it indicates or we can interpret in a way that there are two things that we can highlight. One is this market sentiment is weak. I repeat, the first point is technically this market sentiment is weak. Second, this market technically is quite bearish in a way. That means it's weaker. Or I wouldn't say that it's bearish, I would say that it's weaker in a way, because if we really define bullish and bearish, I worry that a bit you will be confused by these two words. So I repeat, two things that you can highlight from that. If our FKLI is discount more than the normal 5 points, the usual range of 5 points, if it discount more, for example, the discount is more than 10 points, 20 points, and even sometimes we have even 30, 40, and 50 points. It happens before. If the discount is huge, it indicates two. As if the discount is, the more it discount, meaning what? Then this two is even indication. First thing, the market is very weak. Second, in terms of sentiment, the market is very weak. Second, the market is considered bearish in a way, and it's not strong, it's very weak. As long as your discount is huge, then it can indicate that first thing, the market might be on its downtrend and is very weak. The whole sentiment is very weak. So this is what you can interpret. Why this is being defined in that way is because FKLI supposedly is a forecast of the price at the end of the month. So let's say if their forecast is weaker, meaning that they are not bullish towards the market itself. So in a way, if our discount is more, meaning that they are not bullish towards our market. So this is some things that you can understand from the relationship itself from KLCI and FKLI. The same thing, if FKLI is higher than our KLCI, let's say more than 5 points, let's say this is 1601, and in fact KLCI is only below 1590, let's say for example, meaning what? Meaning the market, two sentiments, the same thing, two things that we can highlight from it. First is the market sentiment is considered strong. First thing, the market sentiment is considered strong. Second is more towards bullish market, or is more towards uptrend market. So the same thing, if let's say today is 15th of January, if I anticipate right now, if I'm going to, let's say for example, the futures is trading higher, it might indicate that the traders, they are more bullish towards the direction of this KLCI itself. That's why there's a bullish market. Now, the next slides, you can see what is discount, what is premium, and what you can observe from this market direction itself and the relationship between your FBMKLCI and your FKLI itself. Now, look at this. Let's say your blue color is your FKLI. Then your green color is your FBMKLCI. So when your FKLI, let's say your blue color is below your FBMKLCI, so this indicates a discount. Then subsequently, can you see that this is a premium? Your FKLI is higher than your FBMKLCI, so this is a premium. If your FKLI is more or less equivalent to your FBMKLCI, then this is a par. One thing that you can observe, do you notice that when your discount is quite huge, if you compare with this all right, which is quite tight, normal range, and this, if you enlarge it, it can be more than 5 points easily. So when your discount is huge, right, you can see that the overall sentiment, can you see that the market is more towards direction is towards downtrend. So this is some things that you can observe between your FBMKLCI and your FKLI, the relationship itself, and you can define or you can interpret in the way that if the discount is huge, then it's more towards a bearish market, a weaker sentiment market. If the premium is more, then you can indicate that the market is more bullish, it's more towards upwards direction. So these are all the observations that you can get it from your discount and the premium between your FBMKLCI and your FKLI. So sometimes if you learn more than, for example, if you're trading stocks, then you understand the futures and you understand the relationship, more or less it can give you an indication towards the market itself. So I hope that the topic for today will help you to identify the relationship and also to identify the market direction in a way. So before I end, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and please remember to on your notification bell. We are going to see you in our next class. Thank you very much.